What a revealing Sunday school lesson we have today. Let's review it. Today our lesson comes from our spring quarter that is entitled Justice and the Prophets. And we are in unit number 3, which is dealing with called to God's work of justice. And we are today in lesson number 11, May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day. And let me say happy Mother's Day to everyone. And our lesson today is entitled A New Day is Coming, Zacharias 8, verse 1 through 8, and verse 11 through 17. Well, as we think about the setting of our Sunday school lesson today, Israel has seen God's judgment come, and they have seen Babylon come in and lead them away into captivity. After all of the prophetic warnings that they have received, Israel now has seen God's judgment come down, and they have been led away to exile. In the setting of our text today, our writer, who is Zacharias, is now part of the group that has come back to Israel after the exile. So he is a post-exilic writer. And he is one who sees the devastation of Israel once the people return back to the homeland that God has promised them. And for them to see the situation that Judah is in, many of them needs encouragement to continue in the rebuilding work of the community as well as the temple, the central place of worship. So what does Zechariah do? He has an encouraging message for the people of Israel in 3 parts. First part is found in verse 1 through 8, that God would dwell in the midst of Judah again, that the old and men and women, both the young boys and girls, will return to Israel. Secondly, in verse 11 through 13, he says that the crops and the plants are going to thrive. The plants and crops will prosper, and the people will possess all things. And there the scripture says, you shall be saved, and you will be called a blessing. Thirdly, Zechariah says in verse 14 through 17, that behavior change will come, that God will execute judgments of truth, that there will be peace in the city, no more imagining of evil, and no more false oaths. So as they get ready to come back to Judah, it is seen that God is going to do something different, that it's going to be a new day for Israel, that new day is coming. Well, what about us today? How does that apply to us? Well, we must understand the power of God in our community, that he can change, just like he was changing Israel through their hard times, that God can change our community if God is the center of it again. Secondly, God can affect the old and the young where we become blessed. Only God can do that. From all of us, from the age group of the oldest down to the youngest, can be blessed only by God doing that. He makes a difference in our lives. And finally, when God is back among us, we will have justice, prosperity, and peace. For Israel, they were coming back from exile, from captivity, where we too are coming back from a sort of exile, being away from God's house. And I pray that God would be in the midst of all of us, that when we come back, that it'll be a new day, not only for our individual churches, but a new day for the family